What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's presidential candidates have outlined their positions on the country's labor issues. All three of Taiwan's presidential hopefuls took to the same stage at an event hosted by some of the country's biggest labor unions. Each laid out their platforms on issues like funding labor insurance and migrant workers. At the end of the event, organizers held a flash survey, asking the audience and people watching online which candidate they backed most. Ko Wen-je of the Taiwan People's Party won with 68%. Taiwan is using temple diplomacy to shore up ties with its remaining allies. As John Van Trieste reports, representatives of more than 10 countries have attended a very Taiwanese event, a temple celebration.
Believers walk barefoot across piles of burning paper while carrying statues of their gods, a purifying ritual that's part of a typical temple fair in Taiwan. These kinds of events happen year-round up and down the country, reaffirming local people's faith and community. This, though, isn't an ordinary temple festival. Representatives from 11 of the 13 countries that recognize Taiwan attended, as did envoys from other countries that have informal but still friendly ties with Taiwan. An organizer says the event saw the most foreign dignitaries ever at a temple festival in Taiwan. Organizers hope the event will bring friends closer and share Taiwan's culture with the world. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese students have ranked first in civic literacy in a survey of 24 countries. The survey found that 8th grade Taiwanese students had good awareness of immigrant rights, race and gender equality, and environmental issues. But Taiwanese students participated less in volunteer work compared to students from other countries. Education officials say they hope students can turn their knowledge into action.
整体的素养教育呢，不会偏颇在只是记东西，或是背诵一些需要知道的。那希望这一些都能够在他的生命中变成可以是行动出来。
The UN's annual climate summit is kicking off this week, and cutting fossil fuels is a top priority. But with the United Arab Emirates, one of the world's biggest oil producers, playing host, some doubt progress will be made. Sally Jensen has more.
Preparing to tackle what's been called humanity's biggest challenge. The UAE's Sultan Al Jaber will be welcoming representatives from over 200 countries to Dubai for the United Nations 28th Annual Climate Change Summit. Al Jaber has been a controversial choice to preside over this year's COP28 gathering, as he's also the chief executive of the state-run oil company, one of the largest oil producers in the world.
I want everyone to know that we have the full political will to support a successful COP28.
But many parties to the conference remain doubtful. At the top of the agenda for the two-week summit, phasing out fossil fuels like coal, gas and oil, the main cause of the climate crisis, and fast-tracking the move to clean energy, which Al Jaber says he is well placed to push for, as he's also the chairman of the UAE's state-owned renewable energy firm. Just days before the summit opening, though, increased skepticism. The BBC reported that leaked documents showed the host nation planned to use the summit to further energy deals with other countries, allegations not denied by the UAE, which said that, quote, private meetings are private.
Nobody has any commitment to phasing out fossil fuels, which is causing the vast majority of our climate crisis. And that's exactly why they should not be allowed into these conferences, and we need a very clean slate for actual negotiations to happen.
And with parties needing to make decisions unanimously, there are concerns that COP28 may not achieve what it sets out to, with countries bringing their own economic interests to the table, a problem which has previously delayed a loss and damage fund, which would funnel money from rich countries to poorer ones more vulnerable to climate disasters. If they still can't reach a consensus in Dubai, it could jeopardize the goals for global action.
Nunca foi tão urgente retomar e ampliar essa cooperação. Os desafios da nossa era e as oportunidades que surgem demandam ação conjunta.
Adding to the urgency is that 2023 is set to be the planet's hottest year on record. To turn the needle on the climate crisis, countries will need to drastically cut their emissions, and these talks will be the first assessment of progress since the landmark Paris Climate Treaty, signed by nearly 200 countries in 2015. And if progress fails to match what's needed, it could spell further catastrophe for the planet. Scott Huang and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
British airline Virgin Atlantic has completed the world's first long-haul commercial flight using only so-called sustainable aviation fuel. The flight took off from London and landed in New York, carrying the airline's founder, Richard Branson. Carriers are looking to move away from conventional jet fuel to cut carbon emissions, but the actual sustainability of these fuels is still an open question. They're also expensive, and the materials to make them are in short supply. Virgin's CEO says he's still optimistic.
The feedstock in this case was just oils coming from either animal fat or cooking oil, used cooking oil. But that's just the first generation, so this is really a pathway to showing how to decarbonize long-haul aviation.
All-important coral reefs that support much of sea life have been dying due to climate change. But some Taiwanese marine biologists are hopeful they've found a way to save them. Joyce Chang reports.
Hidden in the waters of Taiwan, a coral kingdom that hasn't been able to escape the damaging effects of climate change. Coral reefs support about 1/4 of all marine species at some point in their life cycle, but under the stress of rising sea temperatures, they bleach, losing their vibrant color and eventually dying off. But Taiwanese marine biologists may have found a solution, inspired by a global search for heat-tolerant corals.
那现在国际上也在寻找所谓的超级珊瑚，就是这些珊瑚在未来如果气候变迁、人为冲击下，那珊瑚礁要消失的话，那这一群珊瑚可能是最有机会存活下来的。
What they've done was study these heat-tolerant corals and restored dying ones in labs to successfully resist temperatures that are up to 3 to 4 degrees warmer than they were in before. And they've done this with the help of Taiwanese electronics giant Delta, whose technology can meaningfully boost coral care.
我们当初并不知道台达的 LED 灯其实对于养珊瑚其实是有帮助的。工程师特别为范老师开发一个垂直式的高效养殖系统。
And this is a piece of a larger push to save the world's reefs, like in the U.S. state of Texas, where a coral sanctuary has been making samples of healthy species to be replanted.
Because coral reefs are declining all over the globe, when we find ones that are healthy, we want to keep them that way.
With so much riding on these coral reefs, from providing a home for fish to economic factors like bringing in tourism revenue, marine biologists around the world are working to make sure coral can face the looming climate crisis. Joseph Wu and Joyce Sin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese Major League Baseball player Chang has returned to his native Taitung County to coach young students on their game. The county in Taiwan's southeast invited Chang to share skills and tips he picked up from playing in the US. His clinic focused on baseball essentials grounded in sports science. Chang spent last season with the Boston Red Sox, but missed part of the season due to injury. The infielder is currently a free agent and is expected to return to the US in January. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories on Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, take a look at this endangered Sumatran rhino calf in Indonesia. I'm Reece Ayers, take care and see you next time.